I am here with Helen Chong. She's the founder of HAYLEN Real Estate Investments. They're at haylengroup.com. HAYLEN is H-A-Y-L-E-N. And Helen, I have to tell you, I'm fascinated from the start with your business card because among other things it tells me that your real estate firm, or you, I guess, speak Cantonese, Mandarin, and Indonesian?
Yes, I do.
Wow.
Speak 4 languages, I guess,
English.
including English.
I think either that or I have acquired some language skills I didn't know I had. So, first, let's just talk about your language skills. How did you learn to speak those other 3 languages?
Well, as a matter of fact, I came here from Hong Kong when I was 18 years old. So naturally, I can speak Cantonese. That's my first language. And my parents, they grew up in Indonesia. And they're Chinese. So they used to yell at us in 3 different languages within one sentence. So that's how I pick it up.
So by the time you came to the U.S., and I'm assuming having grown up in Hong Kong, you spoke English as well?
Well, we had to learn how to read and write. Speaking definitely had to learn how to speak mostly here in America.
But you had some foundation.
I definitely had some foundation.
And so in your real estate practice, how important is your mastery of those 4 languages?
You know, as a matter of fact, especially being in the Bay Area, probably about 80 to 85% of my clientele there are Chinese. And a lot of them moved here from China and studied in America. They got their master's degree or their PhD and eventually want to settle here and buy a home. So we actually do use a lot of our Chinese languages, either Cantonese or Mandarin. Indonesian is not as much though.
Okay. Yeah. And what drew you to the business of real estate?
So there's a story behind that for sure. So when I first came to this country, I actually didn't have any money at all. So after I graduated from UCLA, I became a pension consulting analyst. And there where I witnessed people's pension fund portfolio actually drop 50 to 75% in value during that internet bust period. That's when I was like, wow, I came here with no money, and one of the reasons why I came, I want to search for that financial independence, and this is really not the way to go for me.
So, and to be clear, you initially came to get your college education at UCLA?
Yes.
And your family stayed back in Hong Kong?
Correct. They stayed back. At the time, my parents actually they were working in Indonesia at that time. And so I decided to do a bunch of research to find out like what other investments out there that I can have more control instead of just like, hey, let me just put the money in and then let's see what happened, right? And I found out about real estate investments. I was fascinated by it. I would read tons and tons of articles online. Eventually, I started going to real estate seminars and learned a bunch of that. That's how I started my real estate career.
So you recognized that it could be a great career for you and your goals of financial independence.
Yes.
Which is interesting because that's of course what you're working to help your clients achieve as well.
Yeah, I think because of my personal experience, that was kind of my passion, is to search for that financial independence, and then I found it. That became my career to help other clients as well to do the same thing. So my company, we do a lot of residential real estate, but as you know, in real estate, a lot of times they say, oh, are you a residential agent or a commercial real estate agent? But my company is more like we're a combination of both because we want to help them, besides buying a home, eventually build their real estate portfolio. So we also help our clients to buy apartment buildings as well. And then from time to time, they might need a commercial real estate, like let's say a warehouse or office for their business.
So you recognized in building your business that the traditional route of, as you said, residential or commercial, there might be actually a much smarter way to approach it. And so you're really more of a serving as a consultant, it sounds like, for your clients, a financial consultant that involves real estate as opposed to a traditional real estate relationship.
Actually, that is exactly how I see myself as a consultant, because I tell them or I show them, analyze the properties, analyze the investments, and then how that can change their financial picture of their, let's say, the cash flow, and also how that can increase the equity on the property too.
So you mentioned that you were in Los Angeles and you went to UCLA.
Yeah, okay.
Now your business is located in San Jose. Are you actually located in more than one location, or have you moved to Northern California?
Well, I personally have moved to Northern California.
I see. Okay.
But I still have a team member down in Southern California, so we still serve some clients in Southern California.
Okay. And what do you see as the best advice you can give our listeners who perhaps have never thought about, I mean, most people thought, I wonder if I should have some rental real estate,
Yes.
right? But and I'm sure you have clients that you help with that, but you're actually proposing investment ideas that are much bigger than having one house or two houses that you rent as rental real estate. You're thinking much larger as part of a portfolio. What kind of advice do you give to people who first come to you and are interested in using real estate as an investment vehicle?
So a lot of our clients, like I mentioned, right, they first come in and say, oh, I want to buy a home for my family.
Yes.
We got that done.
Okay.
Then afterwards, they would start looking at, oh, should we invest in more real estate? And the first question they always ask is that, should we invest in another single family, or 1 to 4 units, or an apartment building? The apartment building seems very scary. Like apartment buildings meaning 5 units and up, right?
Okay.
So to them, they find it's a little bit too far for them.
It's not a good first step.
Is not a good first steps. So I show them the numbers. I run the analysis. I show them both sides, like 1 to 4 units, how that would change their financial sense because you use different mortgages and mortgage products as well. So compared to 5+ units. So I make that distinction on like what kind of return on investment they're looking for or looking at, and from there they can decide like if they want to just focus on 1 to 4 units or 5+ units. To be honest with you, most of my clients, they do step right into 5+ units. But
Is that because there's an economy of scale there, that it actually it turns out to be if you can make the leap into a larger piece of property, there's a greater return on investment?
That one is that, and secondly, the valuation method is very different. 1 to 4 units, you use sales comparison method, but then
what people are probably familiar, comps.
Comps,
In
exactly.
other words, you look at the other houses that are comparable and see how they
whatever
compare.
your neighbor is selling for, then you pretty much
You're
it's
stuck
right
with
around
that.
there, right?
Yes.
But 5+ units, complete different valuation method, is more income approach. That means if you buy this one property, let's say 10 units, if you can make more money in this building compared to your neighbors who also own the 10 units, but they don't run it correctly
Yes.
and have a lot of expenses, your property would value a lot more compared to your neighbor's property.
So a lot of what you do is actually education. You have to help your clients understand these different vehicles or investment property types so that you can help them make the smartest decision for their needs and wants.
Yeah, absolutely. So I do investment workshops as well, and then I show them the financial analysis we do, and then specifically I also show them the differences between residential and 1 to 4 units and 5+ units, the difference between that. And there's no right and wrong answer. Everybody's risk appetite is different, but they just need to recognize what the differences are.
And so you also mentioned commercial real estate. And how many of your clients are also investing in commercial real estate, and what are the considerations there versus, say, a 5+ sized unit of apartments?
So a lot of our clients are younger professionals, and they are like engineers and all that. So a lot of times the first thing that comes to mind is multifamily first,
Yes.
for sure. Commercial properties is a little bit less popular because the risk factor is a little bit higher.
Why?
Well, you don't have as much demand, right?
Okay.
Everybody needs a home to live in, and then commercial property probably fluctuate with the economy a little bit more.
I see.
And
Okay.
right behind residential properties as well. So our clients, a lot of times, they just don't really know or don't really understand well
It's
enough.
too big of a
Too
jump.
big. But if you're talking to people who are retiring, then they want to look at these maybe retail shopping center. They just want something that's triple net. They don't have to worry about it. They don't have to manage it as much. But younger generations, they tend to want to just go into the multifamily because they feel like it's more it's a property type that everybody needs to
Yes.
needs to live in, and also they are able to manage the tenants and all that.
So it occurs to me as you're saying that over time, not the needs of your clients, but their interests are going to change as their economic system, their economic situation changes. So your business may actually evolve or add additional facets
Absolutely.
to match the needs of or the desires of your clients as they grow.
Yeah, and that is also another reason why I don't see why we have to stick with just, oh, we are a residential real estate company or we're just commercial real estate company. I see that as a whole picture. We're helping our clients to build their equity through real estate, which includes residential and commercial. And just like I mentioned, as you grow older, you eventually want to go into a little bit more stable without too much management, like a triple net property.
And so have you found that for you personally, real estate investing has it been something you've been able to take advantage of as well?
Absolutely. I think real estate investing is what changed my life. I always tell all my clients that, I came here with no money. I was lost. I didn't really know what to do. But real estate investment is one investment vehicle that really, I found my financial independence through that. And it's kind of interesting because my first property that I bought, I did buy with no money down. And I also, one of my apartment buildings, I did buy with a credit card check.
Wow.
And and real estate, in every single market, there is opportunity for real estate. Even though during the down market, you can still find opportunity, but you just have to be very careful. For up market, obviously you can make money because the market's going up, right?
Yes.
And to me, it doesn't really require as much skill because you're just riding the wave.
Yes.
But when the market is down, that's when you do more analysis and then figure out like how this investment makes sense. So I bought my properties mostly during the down period, during the recession period, but those are the best time to buy, even though it was most of people didn't want to buy at the
that's
time,
right.
but I felt like this is the opportunity for me.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's, here's my question for you, and I imagine you encounter this a lot. Let's say we meet at an event. Oh, we just met at an event.
Yeah.
And I begin to understand how you work with your clients, and I think, Helen's really smart. I think I want to work with her. I think she can help me improve my financial situation and maximize my financial assets. But I'm afraid. How do you help people get past? First of all, just from your response, I'm guessing that you encounter that a lot.
Yes.
How do you help people get past the fear of actually doing something? Because I think it's very easy for people to make no decision because they're afraid to make any decision.
Yeah. So as a matter of fact, my speech is going to be about that as well. So my life stories is all about like how do you tackle these adversities and disadvantages so that you can take more control of your destiny, right? So I tell people when I do investment workshop, I pretty much tackle that right away. I can assure you that you're here listening and then you say, oh, it makes sense. But at the end of the day, are you going to take action?
Yes.
Most people are not going to take action.
Yes.
It's only 5%. Statistically, it's only 5% of the people will take action. So what is it that holding you back? We all have so many excuses, right? It's like, oh, I'm too young, people don't take me seriously, or I'm a woman, or oh, I don't really speak English well. I'm like, real estate investments don't care about all of that. And I know because I have gone through that as well. But more importantly is to take one step at a time. You take what you've learned, I will talk to them about like most of the questions like, oh, I don't know where to start.
Yes.
Then let's take the first step. Let's do that first. Once you finish that first step, let's do the second step. Then your actions start rolling. And then,
So, but this is part of what you do with your clients is actually get them to the point where they're ready to take action.
Yes, and a lot of times, even though we maybe start looking, they all of a sudden, oh my gosh, they have buyer's remorse, they would cancel or back out. But it's okay because that is part of the learning experience also. So we always encourage them, don't worry about it. It's okay. That is part of the learning process.
Yes. So you're, in a sense, part psychologist.
I feel like it.
That was a pretty good confirmation right there, Helen. Her name is Helen Chong. Her business is HAYLEN Real Estate Investments. The website is haylengroup.com. Haylen is HAYLEN group.com. And I'm guessing even though your business tends to be focused in Northern and Southern California, that actually you could have clients anywhere in the world.
Yeah, actually, so I have a client that I've been helping in Southern California and in Northern California. And eventually, she's also buying in Missouri.
So you can help them buy property outside of Northern California or Southern California, but you can also help people from anywhere in the world buy property anywhere.
Well, I tend to refer, so I'm not licensed in any other states, but
see.
I refer. I do have a very vast network. I belong to this organization called CCIM. It's stands for Certified Commercial Investment Member, and it's a global, actually a commercial real estate destination. So we are recognized globally, and we have CCIM designees throughout the world, in Hong Kong, in Asia, in Europe, and North and South America. So what we do is like we have global conference all the time. So as an example, next month we have another global conference, and I've been going there for 3 years now. So I meet a lot of people from different part of the country or different part of the world. And since we are educated in the same way, I feel very confident to refer my clients to them. But a lot of times when I refer clients, I will also stay in the deal.
Well, so this is what I was going to ask you, because if I'm building a relationship with you and you're building a relationship with me, even if I'm buying a piece of property somewhere else that involves a referral, I want Helen on my case.
Yes.
Yeah, so you're still part of it.
I'm still part of it,
Yeah.
very much so, because it doesn't really make sense for me to like, oh, let me just refer you and then I'm out of the picture.
Yes.
Right? You are still my clients.
Yes.
I think you trusted my advice, so I will still stay on the deal. It's just that I'm not licensed there, so I rely on another person who
Right.
really know the market there,
Right.
and I'm probably as a backup, not as a backup, but as more of a financial analysis analyst to help analyze the property.
Yeah, that's really interesting. She's Helen Chong, the company HAYLEN Real Estate Investments, HAYLENGroup.com, HAYLEN, HAYLENGroup.com. Helen, thanks so much for joining us. I really appreciate you being here, and there's a lot of wisdom in what you've said. Thank you for sharing
so
it with
much.
us. Awesome.
That's good.
Thank you. Go away now. We're done with you. That's really impressive what you've done.
Oh, thank you.
You
I
know?
really appreciate it.
When did you first start practicing or getting your license?